Welcome to Podcast This Escape, the podcast where we talk about the escape room we escaped from in the previous episode of this podcast. Roses, Matt, congratulations, you did it!
Yay!
Yay!
And you didn't steal any money!
We had to get a lot of nudges there.
That's all right.
Tough one.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily true. Oh, yeah, I definitely, whenever I make my rooms deliberately shorter, they turn out harder.
That makes sense. I actually think we did really good, Matt.
Oh, yeah, I think
we
you did
did
great.
some really hard ones.
What I thought was interesting about it, though, was that, Roses, me and you went very much like back and forth with solving, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
Everything that I got, I would get stumped on something, and then you would have the jolt of inspiration, and then you would get stuck on something, and I would have the jolt of inspiration.
Yeah, that's true.
And that often happens in rooms like this. Like, someone will have the kernel of an idea and be like, I need someone else to finish this off for me, or I
And
need
Matt,
someone
you
to
were
find
very
this jump.
good at finding that when you were stuck, you would say the little things that you noticed. And that's great.
Good.
I didn't even get to taste anything in this one, though. I didn't lick
I
a
know.
single thing.
We took your senses away. It's just a computer screen.
I gave you
Yeah.
a cup of tea or something in the room. I let you have a drink.
That did not register with me. I think I was so focused.
That was while the video
Oh,
was
that's
loading
nice.
right at the start.
That was such a smart idea for an escape room.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh.
I think that was so. I'm just really impressed that you thought of that as a setting, thought of a
Yeah.
website as a setting.
Do you feel like I was saying this when we did the playtest, where I go, of all of the rooms that we've done, I wonder if someone could just make this one. Like, people who are good at computers could probably make this in 10 minutes, right?
I think I really do think that
100%.
somebody could. Yeah. You could
Yeah,
even
I
like
don't
make
have those
this
skills.
You could make this on a computer and put it in an escape room
Mm.
and like deck it out with like 90s things
Ugh.
and posters, and
What
I think it'd be
fun.
cool.
I think there's also
Yeah.
something nice about the way you did this, Danny, that like it was like, let's do a website like an escape room, but it didn't do the thing that I think sometimes there's a tendency to do, is like, so it's like you physically go into this website. So no, you're just sitting at your computer looking at it. Like, you are just on your computer clicking away. Your interactions are just keyboard and mouse, even in a fake website on an audio program. There was no extra layer of like, you enter the computer world. And I liked it. I liked that it was as straightforward as it was.
Oh, good. It's an interesting one doing ones like this because trying to find the barrier between everything is on the computer screen versus you can interact with the physical world to some extent is a tricky balance to find. And I wanted you to never leave sitting at your desk, but I did incorporate keyboard and mouse as minor parts of that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was a revelation to me, is when it was like, and maybe it was a revelation that happened a little too late, but when I realized, oh, I do need to consider what physically
Yeah,
is
just a
in
little
front of me.
bit.
I will say, it was
The
very
scroll wheel.
wild to hear, because you guys were looking for what you had that could control it. And you went, all right, I look at the keyboard. And I was like, great, they're about to look at the mouse. I look at the monitor. Okay, well, now they'll look at the mouse. I look to see if I have any speakers. Okay, but now they'll look at the mouse now, right? I look at
literally
my
everything
chair.
else.
Okay, but surely. All right, there's nothing left to look at. It was, oh, no.
I actually think there's something interesting there. I think it's like, okay, you know how the sociological phenomenon of when you are driving a car, you start referring to the car as me, right? Like,
Sure.
oh,
Sure.
somebody hit me, or oh, I turned right, right? Like you stop thinking of your car as something separate. I think
Yeah.
there's something
The mouse
about
is
a
part of you.
mouse that it feels like part of you. I kind of even forget it's there on some level when I am using
It's
a
an
computer.
extension of the self. Like a samurai's sword. It's an extension of your spirit.
It's weird
Yeah.
because I was even thinking, like, when we enabled it, I'm like, my brain, for some reason, didn't go to the scroll wheel. It went to the keyboard keys, almost like you're in an editor. And
Yeah.
you're like, and you're moving backwards and forwards. So I had that thought. I just didn't think it was, I just didn't think of the mouse, even though there's one right here next
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
me.
such
Well,
an odd thing.
I tried when you looked at the keyboard and mouse. I said, "Yeah, you looked at the keyboard," and I went, "Yep, you've got a brand new keyboard and mouse."
Oh, poop.
See,
You did
this
say
was-
that. Dang
In the
it.
playtest, this was a lot easier for me because I was like, "Oh, it's 1998," and I decided to do a fun bit talking about the ball at the bottom of my mouse. I was like, "Oh, is that? Do I need to get the ball out of the bottom of my mouse and give that a click?" Just because it was,
That's
I was talking
funny.
about the 90s, and so I was
Yeah.
already talking about the mouse. And so later on, I was like, "Oh, I got a scroll wheel. That was already described to me."
That's so funny.
But you didn't have a laser mouse by then? Come on.
I had a ball mouse for a
1999.
long time.
Shell it out.
When did laser mouses come out? It is
19
mouses, not mice, right?
Absolutely.
I think it is mouses for computer mouses.
The optical mouse did not hit the consumer market till 2004. Roses, you didn't have a laser mouse at that time either.
I also didn't have a ball mouse. You know what I had?
Trackpad. The little nipple in the middle of your laptop.
Were you just
No,
exclusively
not-
DOS and
Yeah,
had
just
no
so you-
mouse?
Hey, that's how I came into puberty. Is that little nipple on the.
No, it was this very strange Logitech mouse with one really large button on one side and then another large button on the other side and then like a tiny trackball in the middle.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, that's fair. That was
Wow.
how a lot of them started. I'm just
Yeah.
looking up the history of the scroll wheel now. And yeah, Microsoft got a patent for it in 1999, but various versions of it existed from 95, apparently.
Yeah.
I remember having a scroll wheel prior to 1998. I think this
Definitely.
this holds together.
It's
historically.
ironclad. There is nothing at
No.
all anachronistic about this room.
Not even a little bit.
It was great though. I think you guys did. I think overall you did really. You need a little bit of like prompting on the tiniest little things, but like you had solved the color stuff really well. You had got to
Yeah.
we're mixing blue and green faster than me. I didn't notice that password was in orange for a long time until Danny was like,
Oh.
"Why would I give you that image?" I was like, "Oh, that's a good point. It does just say username password. Let me look at it again. Oh, okay. The password's in orange. I'm an idiot."
Do you, when you playtest each other's, or well, Bill, do you ever make?
I
the
do
escape
the
rooms
I
yourself?
write the murder mysteries. I haven't done any of the
Okay.
escape rooms.
So when you guys playtest each other's escape rooms, are you meaner to each other than you are to your guests?
Oh, 100%. Like the
Oh, wait.
playtest.
Are you like,
Well, I mean-
dude, why
Oh.
aren't you looking at the goddamn mouse?
No, I think we're quite
not
nuts.
meaner in that way, but definitely like meaner in terms of as a game master. I want him to be able to break the room, so he has to be a little bit meaner in his explorations. But I have to be a
Okay.
little bit meaner about not giving hints because
Okay,
I want to
okay.
see if it can be done without them, or if I need to adjust things to make them clearer.
Roses has linked an image
Oh
of the
my
mouse
God.
that she used. That's insane. I love it. That's a
Do you love my-
huge
do you
I
love my
trackball
haven't
child
mouse.
seen
mouse?
that one.
That's a wild trackball mouse. I love it.
It was
yeah, that
useless.
that like, kind of
looks
makes me, in some way, that makes me uncomfortable.
Listen, like
I'm
and
looking
Matt,
at it.
It's a
It's like,
little bit alien.
Matt, you will understand this. That mouse is impossible to play adventure games with. It is so uncomfortable, like point and clicks.
yeah.
Horrible. I thought it looked like really cool, but I couldn't. It's just awful.
I had somebody
Well-
recommend me a trackpad mouse not that long ago. Or, sorry, a trackball. What are they called?
I think they're a trackball.
Just trackball.
Trackball.
Yeah.
A trackball mouse not that long ago, and I bought one, and I was just all over the screen. I just could not get that thing under control. It was like I was on a. What do you call it? Those mechanical bull. I was just trying to wrangle this cursor and could not, and now it sits in my cabinet.
Yeah, no, it's
unused.
bad. It's
Oh.
not good,
I was-
especially for the games we play.
I was kind of hoping for this room to have nostalgia to it for people who were on computers during those days, but also very much serve as a reminder of, well, some things haven't gotten worse in the world. So, we've improved on some things.
Yeah,
No, it's very nostalgic for like super nostalgic for me.
it was Yeah. It was a very, very fun room. Thank you guys so much for it.
What were your moments? Like, tell us a little bit. What did you feel proudest of yourself about? What made you feel the best about you?
Roses?
I forgot what it was, but there was a moment where I'm like, that worked? And I now don't remember what it was, but I remember being flabbergasted that it did.
Pause break and the
Piracy?
arrows.
Oh, the pause break. Yeah, I'm like, what?
Nice.
Yeah, I think it was when I put together the DDR directions.
Yeah.
That was my happiest moment, I think, in that, because that was, we talk about aha moments in puzzles, and that was your most like vocal, audible, oh, I see it.
Yeah, it was. I think I'd started counting them, and I think Bill was like prodded me to be vocal in that moment because I think Bill, you recognized, oh, he's just putting it together, and he's not sure that he's putting it together, and so that's why I was like, oh, I'm counting there's 13 of them, and then I think Roses, I'm not sure. Yeah,
I found incredibly impressed about that. I think the way you stumbled on that was really nice in going, okay, we have NT9, and then Roses were like, well, that's got to be 29. It's got to have a TW at the start of it. And for the moment of like, wait, that means that last thing ends with TW. So we're looking for something that ends with like
a vertical
line and then
nothing.
And I could I could hear your brain going, line and nothing. What ends with nothing? I have something that ends with nothing. And then,
right. Yeah. It was just like,
it worked out really
if
well.
some of them are nothing.
What do I have that has nothing in a list?
Yes, exactly.
That was beautiful. And thankfully, that was something that those pauses were added in after the playtest.
Yes. In the
I
original
initially
playtest,
just had the directions, and you had to figure out which ones you didn't have to
paused
adjust.
and which ones.
And I realized as soon as I had said it out loud, I started making notes and went, well, that doesn't.
I think I
bad.
said today during the playtest, I was like, hey, I would never have worked that out. Like, that was outside of the realm of possibility
I said, I'm not even going to treat this as a hint. I'm just going to tell you what my edit is going to be, and you can solve it that way.
Yeah, because originally, without the pauses, it was like, just assume where you might add a line occasionally. And I was like, oh, no. Oh, please, no.
My proudest moment was saying no to piracy.
Oh, that was great. There is a response if you say yes. Would you like me to?
Would you
should
like
we go
I
through
would
this
love
now?
to know it. I was curious about that immediately.
All right. So if you say yes, you feel all kinds of shady as you press the yes button, but no one will ever know. And it even says above median income. You're not stealing from the poor. You wait a moment while the page registers your decision, and then more words appear.
Oh, God. Matt, would you like to?
This is a test website operated by the federal government regarding the study of piratical online behaviors. Your response has been noted. The hypothesis that online file sharing correlates with financial theft is supported to the point of indisputably proven. You have declared that you are willing to steal not only music from poor production companies, I mean starving artists, but also regular people. You wouldn't steal a car. Apparently you would. Details of your personal identity and location have been passed on to a federal task force and a warrant issued for your arrest. Let this be a lesson for you and anyone else paying attention to you. You can probably already hear the sirens. We you. That's them. Start running.
I hadn't
like
seen
how this
any of
one-
this, by the way.
This one, us as a person, we have made it indisputably proven that these two things are linked.
Very funny. Yeah, I love
Thus,
that.
we are a criminal.
I would have been devastated if we'd forgotten to talk about that during the post show.
Yeah, no, that's amazing.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
Danny, you either did a really good job of acting like you had forgotten about the pause break button, or you had a different key in mind and adjusted it on the fly to the pause break button.
Legit, I did not mind what you went with for the pauses, even if you just went with, I'm just going to leave a bit of a gap before I press the next button. I was very flexible.
Okay.
No, legit, that pause break button never entered my living consciousness ever, ever, ever. Thank you for teaching me.
You're welcome.
I would have assumed it was the space bar.
I think that's the most reasonable. Like, there's a space or pausing you would do with the space.
Totally fair.
I think
Yeah.
space, but pause break is a better choice, clearly.
That's what I
Yeah.
was thinking too, but like with the space bar, when I'm like, oh, in an editor to pause stuff, you would press space bar.
Mm.
But
That feels like a new thing to me. Is that also old?
But
Or-
also-
I know that you're just
no,
thinking
I think that's
pause
kind of new,
equals
but also,
space.
yeah, a space is a pause. So I
Yeah,
think even
I
from an old
space-
context or a new context, you could make sense of it. But the
Yeah,
pause break
Space
is
was
the better one.
paused. Space was paused from the beginning of Winamp, at least, and I think
Yeah.
that came
fair.
out in 1998.
yeah,
It was,
Winamp
there
is
was a
old,
reference to
yeah.
Winamp in the PC Power Play magazine from 1998 that I talked about on a yet to be released episode of 8-Bit Back Issues. So yes, Winamp was around in
Perfect.
1998.
I just thought-
Interesting.
I was just thinking, like, man, if it's the pause break button, that is so clever of them to put that.
Hey,
there.
we'll-
Like, that's so nerdy.
we'll take it.
I love it.
Oh, no, I am exactly the right kind of nerdy to not require any technical knowledge whatsoever.
But no, it was great. I really liked. Yeah, I had the same thing. When I was finally figuring out the password of going blue and green. Okay, how do I combine them? Maybe like teal. And Danny went,
Mhm.
"What's a different thing that isn't teal?" I was like, blue green. And eventually go to like, what suits the time period? I went, oh,
Right.
aqua.
I
Because
don't think you
I hadn't
would've-
noticed. I'd noticed Beck, but I hadn't noticed that there was Sync for NSYNC and Street for
Yeah.
Backstreet and
Yeah.
Spice for Spice Girls, and even blue and green. Green for Green Day, blue for blue.
Potentially,
Which,
yeah.
you know, so
Yeah. Oh, I noticed that when Danny said do some word association. And that's when I
Mm.
wrote all of them down and realized that Sync was in Sync and Street was Backstreet Boys. And yeah.
That
Spice
was the
Girls.
one that felt like we had to be led the furthest to
Maybe,
get
yeah.
there.
It's definitely the most contrived for my own enjoyment.
But I think I think I led us astray by jumping a step ahead and being like, okay, well, then you combine blue and green,
Right.
and then
Which, totally fair. I think there was also a fact that I was so 90s pop pilled at this point while I was writing it. Didn't occur to me that people might come up with other terms for a mixture of blue and,
and I got
green.
to say, from a
Yeah.
playtesting point of view, going, oh wait, Spice Beck, like the password should be posh, like it just should be.
Yeah, I kept thinking that. I'm like, is it a Spice Girl?
Well,
Yeah.
if those two had been the colors that were indicated by the word password, maybe it would have been.
so here's an interesting thing. I had noticed some of these associations much earlier. Not much earlier, but a little earlier, and was meant to make a joke about them, and then got distracted, and then like completely forgot about that association whatsoever.
If only
So,
you
like,
made the joke.
Right, yeah, it's teaching me. And then, like you said, you made a joke about the trackball, and that's how you got it stuck in your head, like the idea of the mouse in your head. And that's what I'm learning. Always make the joke. Always make the joke,
And also,
then
like,
you'll.
That I think that's part of for a lot of people who play these games. Is like if you have a stupid thought jump into your head, there's a good chance Danny wanted a stupid thought to jump into your
Yes.
head just then.
Yeah.
So maybe
Yeah.
it's the right thought.
Right.
You know what's really interesting? Because like I'm an artist and I work with paint colors. If it was blue green instead of green blue, I might have said aqua instead of like turquoise or teal. Because teal
Oh.
and turquoise they can lean either green or blue, but aqua leans blue always.
Oh, damn.
We should have changed it up. Well, also, actually, it could have been.
Yeah,
blue,
it was-
green.
it-
It was only green blue because you said it in that order. It was just
Yeah,
red
it
and
was,
yellow.
yeah, that
it was really
on
it was
us.
orange. So
Matt, this
actually,
is your fault.
it's all Matt's fault. I can't believe you got it
Yeah,
wrong.
I'll say,
Well-
objectively, it will be which did I use in the text first, the red,
Yeah,
red or yellow. That would surely be the one that went first. In which case,
I think yellow's first,
oh, okay.
which is green, which is bad. So
Oh,
you screwed it up,
wait.
Danny. Oh, it's
Damn
your
it.
fault. Danny, you got it
Oh,
wrong.
okay.
Oh, I can't believe it.
Yep.
Yeah, but there's like that order of like English suggests the order of words to put things in somehow in this like intangible way we all understand, but none like it is a little indefinable.
Yeah.
And red yellow just sounds right, while
Yeah.
yellow red does
We're
not.
good.
Mm.
We've got rainbow
Yeah.
water here.
And for me, like blue-green sounds right, and green-blue doesn't.
I
Like,
agree.
literally, I was
Agreed,
staring
agreed.
at
Yeah.
Agreed.
green-blue.
Blue-green does sound more
Definitely.
correct.
I think
than-
I said green
green
blue
blue.
at some point in the episode because I thought you had said that and it felt weird coming out of my mouth.
Yeah. Interesting.
Oh, but I love that. Getting the opening sounds in the song lyrics.
Oh,
well
that was
done to
very smooth.
that.
Going straight to, wait a minute, these start with even. And that was a moment where I read those song lyrics aloud because I thought you might appreciate hearing them rather than saying them on your end. Because that
Yeah.
helps you kind of get
Mm.
into the different, like, username is easy to hear than it is to say.
Yeah.
And I hoped, I didn't want to hit them hard, but I thought if you hear it, it might give you a different way into thinking about the sounds of them rather than thinking about
Bill,
the text of them.
I think that is very thoughtful and very helpful, but I do have
It
to
was
say I was writing
entirely
down
subconscious.
I was writing down the letters as
Oh,
you were
amazing.
repeating the thing. So look,
No, that's
you were
great.
probably
Just too
right
quick.
in a million different scenarios.
Well, it's also just good for the audience as well. But I'm glad you didn't need
true.
it to hear him repeat it. But no, that is
Yeah.
that worked out really well. I also liked you were quick to start thinking about QWERTY out, alphabet in to write the cipher down.
Yeah.
I didn't write it down. I just kept looking at my keyboard and counting over and over again. It took a lot longer.
Oh, wow.
I was like, T, and there it is. That's A, B, C, D, E. All right, next. Oh, that's so much further. But yes.
No, I think that's like the true like old adventure gamers in us because I have it fully written down because
Yeah.
I've had to do that puzzle
Mhm.
in King's Quest and in other other
Really?
adventure
I-
games.
That's
Yep.
fun.
Well, not with keyboard to
Mm.
alphabet. In King's
Not
Quest,
with that,
it is
but with
the
Just
alphabet
rotating.
to the reverse alphabet.
Sure. Oh,
Right,
yeah, of
correct.
course.
Yeah.
But I
think
still
that-
have to write it down. I can't just
Yeah.
be,
Yeah.
Absolutely. This is a thing when primary school kids here, if they want to get into the special academically selective schools, they have to take a test. And I've done some tutoring for those tests. And the first thing that I tell them on the general aptitude section is, all right, you get in there, write down the alphabet just at the top of your page. It sounds stupid. You're going to need it because there are always ciphery sorts of things in there.
I can't believe I was doing that and just like halfway through I switched and then switched back and then it was just like it was just all willy-nilly. Like I
We
was
have
just
a-
back and forth.
We have a puzzle from the, I think, 6th room that we did for Escape
Super
This
early.
Podcast,
Okay.
which involves a cipher. But the cipher you have to do backwards. So it's like, you know, to do the cipher, you go like X
P to
number of
B.
steps forward. But the person has already done it, so you should be doing it in reverse, going backwards.
Mhm.
And we have like updated and changed and checked and done that so many times over the last 8 years of people sending me like, this cipher doesn't work, and us needing to figure out whether it works or whether we got it wrong or whether we need to change it. It has been this monkey on the back of this podcast for a long time, along with one other thing from season 4 where something says white when it should say black, and we update it every time and it's always wrong somehow.
It always reverts.
It
in the
always goes
notes.
back to some other thing that is incorrect. But yeah, a cipher going the wrong way has been the bane of this show for a long time. So just,
And it gets you in real life now as well. You find a cipher in someone else's puzzles, and the first thing you think of is, I'm going to do it the wrong way. I know it.
I'll
Let's
go
find
backwards. I
out.
should have gone forwards.
What is worse though is that I thought ahead and I did two different colors.
You had the green pencil.
Yeah. That's
and
why
I
I'm like
still did it wrong.
that's why I'm like, maybe there's not an extra step. Maybe it's just green blue. Because like
Yeah.
Yeah.
even though I
Oh,
do
gosh.
think your method was really clever, Matt, and I kind of wish it would have worked because that'd be sick. But yeah.
Oh yeah. I think posh is a acceptable answer to that password. But no, I think you did really well. I think you did
It was
a
great.
good
There were
showing.
moments where you felt like you were stuck, but that was only because you were comparing it to the early parts where you were just getting everything.
Mm.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I think
I-
it
I was
great.
sitting here going, I'm not giving him hints. They're right at the
Yeah,
end.
they don't need hints. They're about to crack the case.
I mean, you guys did say it was a short one, and I I feel like our moments of getting stuck definitely lengthened it.
But that's all right. Look, we say it's a short one coming off the back of what people have heard as last episode, which I haven't finished the edit of that yet, but I'm assuming it's still over 2 hours of the final edit, possibly close to 3. So, like we it was shorter than the last one that we did. So, but it's not even like a short room time wise. It's a small room. It's a compact.
It's very
one.
yeah. I'm describing
But
it as compact.
as you said before, Danny, often when you make them more compact, you can add in tougher puzzles, and the length usually ends up the same as a longer
I mean,
room.
that's so quintessential adventure game. You got a short adventure game, you fill it with hard puzzles.
You gotta get your money's worth.
Or just like random deaths. You should have killed our character many
You
more
had to
times.
keep restarting.
I didn't even think about like the appropriateness of having the 90s computer room and bringing you guys on for it.
Oh, I did.
Oh, I
That's why I
didn't.
So
suggested them.
amazing. Yeah.
I suggested them.
I suggested them.
them.
You said,
and I just
Danny, I
suggested
was
them
organising the
because I
guests,
wanted to chat.
And you said, ugh, Roses and Matt, I don't want to talk to those idiots. And I said, no,
And I
don't
said,
worry.
Who are they again?
You said, I forgot, who are they? Remind me. And I went, no.
I believe you'll find it was me who said, hey, you know who we should get back? And you said, great idea, I guess.
I said, oh, really? Those smelly idiots?
those really normal, boring
Those
people?
normos?
What's our most normal episode? Because
I will say, Billy, there is no way you could have said we should do this, it would be appropriate, because we only play tested this 2 days ago.
I knew.
There's outrageous lies.
No. I knew it was people can hear and playtest. I already knew it was a website.
You did not.
Yeah, I mean,
Thank
I
you
thought
for
that
coming
was
back on.
purposeful.
It was all me.
Danny. I thought it was purposeful that you did have us on as like
No,
millennials.
it really
like-
wasn't. It was just a charming coincidence, and it worked out perfectly, and I'm very happy with it.
It's great. I actually have a video where I talk about like old AOL and how much I loved my personal computer, and yeah, it's great.
Show off
Even
your
just
crazy
calling
mouse.
on personal computers.
Yeah, my weird crazy mouse. Please put the crazy mouse in the show notes. I want everyone
I'll
to
add
see,
the image. Yeah.
see that abomination.
Yeah, everyone, you should look
I-
at this thing.
I like really hate it. Like looking at that mouse picture just makes me like it makes my skin crawl somehow.
I'm sorry I exposed you to this weird mouse. It's my bad.
Well, look, thank you so much for coming on and running through that room with us. It was really lovely to hear you play. It was really great to
Thank you.
have the whole experience. So thank you so much.
Thank
it
you
was a lot
guys.
of fun. If people wanted to check out more of what you're doing, where should we send them? Where can people find more Matt, more Roses?
Well, you can find me as Pushing Up Roses on almost any platform. I have a YouTube channel where I talk about 90s stuff, so maybe this is a good chaser for
Mhm.
that.
Mm.
You can look at my art and ceramics on my Instagram, which is Pushing Up Roses without a G. I don't really know how that happened, but it is what it is. And yeah,
Yeah.
everywhere else is just Pushing Up Roses with a G.
Perfect.
You guys can find me anywhere on the internet, Matt Aukamp, AUKAMP. There should only be one of me, but if you see another Matt Aukamp out there that has a horrible, horrible Google result, don't click on that one. That's not me.
It's not him.
You'll order-
It's not.
It'll send you so many keyboards.
We do Save Your Game as our video game podcast. I also do a podcast with my friend Pat Reber about the X-Men, where we are reading all of the X-Men in chronological order
Ooh, wild.
and
Nice.
talking about it. We are talking about the old 1960s really weird X-Men comics right now. It's called Mutant Menace.
Are these like pre-Wolverine?
I think he was in
Oh,
from the start,
yes.
wasn't he?
Yeah,
Or was he
yeah.
not?
No,
He
they
wasn't
go way
original.
No,
back.
it is.
Oh, but it's
it
not
is
pre-Iceman. He's the
I can't
original.
remember
It
which
is
ones are original. I just know Wolverine is-
Cyclops. Cyclops, Iceman,
Nice.
Marvel Girl,
Marvel
Beast,
Girl. Okay.
and Angel.
Angel was there
Angel.
from the start. How wild.
And then there's they had some random randos that joined the team for short periods of time, like the Mimic.
Why Why does that make me
Yes.
laugh? I
He
don't-
had all their powers. That was just it. He could do all their he could do
Why
all their
is
powers.
that
They were just
such
like
a thing? Every group of,
I know.
of superheroes things, like Heroes has that, Umbrella Academy has that.
Yeah.
It's always a thing.
I have
there's just
all
Isn't
one
like-
character that can do all the other ones' powers, and yeah.
Isn't
Well,
like
I
the
think-
Pokemon for that Ditto? Isn't like Ditto
Yeah,
also?
yeah,
Wait, there's a
Ditto.
Pokemon named Mimic, right?
There's Mimikyu now.
Mimikyu.
But-
There's
yeah.
Mimikyu, but yeah, there's
That's not really
yeah, there's a
a gimmick.
Pokemon named Ditto who can become one other Pokemon at a time, not all the other
Okay,
Pokemon at a time. But I mean, I think it is when it's done well, it's supposed to imply the necessity of teamwork, right?
Mhm.
Okay, you have all these crazy powers, but by themselves, they don't equal what happens when we use them as a team, right?
Mhm.
But oftentimes it's just they use their powers against each other. Like they use the exact
Yeah.
same powers against each
Yeah.
other, but somebody did it a little better, you know?
It's kind of like the power creep, but a little different.
Mm.
Yeah. So anyway, that's
For
Mutant
more
Menace.
in-depth analysis,
Yeah, go and
you
listen.
listen to this podcast.
Uh,
You
wonderful.
guys ever do an X-Men themed escape room? Me
Oh,
and
yeah.
Pat would love to.
Look, we've
I won't say no.
we've done a Yu-Gi-Oh themed escape room.
Oh my
Nice.
god,
before.
really?
Yeah, which was good fun. That was a lot of fun. Sure, there's always the chance someone will force us to take it down one day, but as of now, they haven't. So we're all right. Because it's not like we call it like it's card monster
Oh,
time.
no, it's straight up Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yu-Gi-Oh. Kaiba's in there. All right.
It's just Yu-Gi-Oh.
That's
Well,
amazing.
look, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank
Thank you, everybody at home, for listening. I hope you enjoyed the episodes. If you want to help support the show, tell a friend, post about it online, stand in the middle of the street and play episodes on a boombox over your head like you're John Cusack. We appreciate that.
That's the
support
80s.
a
I don't
huge amount.
understand that, I think.
Um,
Or is that 90s as well? Oh,
Ah, who
God.
knows?
It's too early for
Just
me.
say anything; it'll be fine.
There's
Um,
no way to know. So we'll
there's no way
just
to know.
let's let it go. There's no way.
John Cusack is still doing that to this day.
Because that's all he does
walked
in
past
every
my house
movie.
the other
He's
day
very
doing that.
typecast.
Or he just wanders the country like Johnny Boombox Seed.
You can also support the show on Patreon. We don't run any ads, except for implicit ads for Yu-Gi-Oh! And so we make all our money through crowdfunding. So thank you for everybody who supports us there. Anybody who supports at any level can appear as an NPC in one of Danny's rooms. So thank you to BookMonkey44.
Thank you so much.
It was nice to
Aw,
find an
BookMonkey44.
excuse to use that name.
That's awesome, Book Monkey 44. Thank
You
you.
knock. But there's weekly bonus episodes for everybody at $5. There's videos for $10 donors, possibly a new podcast coming out soon for the $10 donors, and a whole bunch of other fun stuff there. So thank you so much for everyone who supports on Patreon so that we can keep making this show and let it be freely available for everybody who wants to listen. So thank you so much. All right.
And if you listen really carefully, you can hear our dog whining.
We have a small dog whining in the background, which means it's time to end the episode. Thank you so much, everybody, for playing, for listening, and thank you, Danny, for writing such a fun room.
Thank you so much.
All right, bye, everybody.